Good morning all. Myself Dr. Pushpa, ISC Department, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. Now I am going to continue the class, that is machine learning class, which was previously handled by the one of my colleague Victor, and thus we are going to, in today's class, let me move on to the basic fundamental concept, that is concept learning. So when we are analyzing the concept learning, so first thing is I would like to brief out or explain this concept learning with an example so that you people can understand very easily. So now let us consider this. We are in a universe. This is a universe. When you are considering a universe, in a universe we are going to come across multiple objects, and each object is going to have its own features. Based on those features, the objects are going to be identified. So let us consider, for example, in this universe, let us consider a simple chair. Chair is an object. Now when you want to identify the chair has got its own features. We can call it as a features, or it contains its own constraint to say it is a chair. So now the constraints which we are going to have, that is, we are considering a chair. Now let us consider this chair is considered to be a concept. So the concept here is the concept, that is the features which is going to derive a object, that we call it as a concept. That is, the concept is just indicating what is the object. So we can say that is the concept is a one which is going to derive an object. So or it can identify a object. So we can say that concept is that which defines an object. So we are going to have a concept. In a universe we will be having a concept. Based on the concept, the objects are going to be identified. In a universe we will be having multiple objects are being present, but to identify that object we are going to have a concept. So that concept is going to derive an object. So when you are having this object, so now next thing is, what is concept learning. So when you look at the concept learning, while deriving an object, we will be having certain features. Okay. After that certain features, we need to classify that object, whether it belongs to that particular concept, whether this object belong to a particular concept or not. In an alternative way, we can say that whether an object is a member of a concept or it is a non-member of a concept. Then we can call it as such type of learning. We by labeling its input as a output, as a Boolean variable output, then we call it as a concept learning. That is what here, when you consider a concept is represented in a letter by using a letter C, where concept is a notion and also the data objects. The data objects can be represented, or we can represent it as a X. It is also a notion. A concept where it defines a object. If the object belongs to this concept, for example, you can say the X is an object that belongs to a concept, then we can represent in a Boolean value, say for example, it can be represented as a +1, or we can represent it as a yes, or we can represent it as a true, we can represent it as a true. Then and next, if X object, if it does not belongs, if it does not belongs to a concept, then we represent it as a Boolean variable -1 or no or false. So, we need to infer the presence of object in a particular concept. So, that is what we call it as a concept learning. Now, we can, according to your chapter or according to this textbook, Tom M. Mitchell, it defines the concept learning inferring a Boolean valued function from training examples. That is, we are going to get a training examples based on of its input and output. That's what we are going to have a concept. So, I think you people understood this concept learning. Now, let us move on to the next concept learning task. How we are going to have this concept learning task? With an example, I would like to explain the concept learning task, and I need to like understand you people what is a hypothesis and the notations which is being used along with this chapter. Those notations we are going to study. Task which while let us have the concept learning task. Here in this example we have given a concept. What is that concept? Here the concept here is days on which my friend Aldo enjoys his favorite water sport. This is what the concept. By using this concept, we need to analyze whether on which days the Aldo can play his favorite water sport. So, depending on this, we are going to have we need to generate a hypothesis. So, when we are having a hypothesis, the hypothesis will be mainly depend on the attributes or features of that particular day where you will be having more comfortable to play the water sport. So, that is the one thing which we can analyze. Now, let us consider here now what is hypothesis. So, hypothesis we are going to have a conjunction of a constraints of a training example or a conjunction of a constraints of a particular instances. Now, let us write that example so that you can understand very easily. There are 6 attributes. 6 attributes to infer whether Aldo can play water sport or not. 6 attributes are: sky is one attribute, air temperature is one attribute, humidity is another attribute, water, humidity, after humidity it's wind, water and forecast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attributes are there, and 6 attributes, and each of the attributes has got its own values. When you consider the attribute values, now that is attribute values for the sky. Sky attribute values are, possible values is sunny, cloudy and rainy. Sunny, rainy and cloudy. Sunny, cloudy and rainy. Next is air temperature. Air temperature value is warm and cold. Next, humidity. Humidity value that is normal and high. Next is wind. Strong and weak. Next, water. Water is warm and cool. Next, forecast. Forecast with these values same and change. So these are all the attribute and its attribute value, where based on the conjunction of this attribute values you can define whether it can play Aldo can play a water sport or not. So along with this conjunction we can come across another hypothesis. We can generate another hypothesis, where that hypothesis we can say that a most specific hypothesis and the most generic hypothesis, that we can have the conjunction. So when you look at here, this question marks. 1, there are 6 attributes are there. So 6, if the 6 value, if it is represented by using this question mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The conjunction of these attributes where is said to be the most specific hypothesis. Whereas if you are considering a value 5, all the values are 5. How many? That's 6. If all the values are 5, then we consider the hypothesis is a most specific hypothesis. The conjunction of a question mark where we call it as a most general hypothesis, whereas a collection of a 5 we call it as a most specific hypothesis. Along with this, we can generate a hypothesis with by conjunction of this attribute values, that where we can decide or where we can apply the concept learning to decide the target concept. That is the target concept. We can define target concept by having a hypothesis. That is, we can have a target concept C can be, concept can be a 0 or 1. 0 indicate the false or he cannot play, 1 indicates the true, yes, he can play the water sport. That is the one thing. So the target concept can be represented. Target concept can be represented as h of x. H of x, where h is indicating the hypothesis which is got generated by having a conjunction of constraints of attribute. X is indicating a for a particular instances or particular training example, that can be either a 1 or 0. That instances can be either 1 or 0. That depends on the hypothesis which has got generated. So, this is what the basic things which is required to analyze with the concept learning example. With this example, now let me have the further we are going to analyze with the concept learning task. I will give the example table and you can easily understand what it is happening. So, that is the table which we are going to write it now. This is the example table you are going to require for the lab session also. Look at this table, where this table gives you or summarize the training examples, and it is going to have its own inputs. Based on these inputs, it has got its own output. Now, we can say the example 1, 2, 3, 4, it has been considered as a instances, or training example is called as a instance. So, how many instances are present? So, the 4 instances are present, and that particular 4 instances has got its output, that either it can play a water sport or not. That is said to be a target concept. Now, in this example, enjoy sport is a target concept. Now, let us look at here in this training examples. See, first 2 instances, second instances, third instances and fourth instances. See, instances will be represented by a variable or by a letter which we call it as x. Instance can be referred as a x, and in a universal instance space will be indicated by the capital X. Capital X is a vector of instances, multiple instances, where capital X will be representing a collection or a vector of instances x1, x2, x3, x4 in a universal space, in a particular space, instance space. And next, once again we can have a hypothesis space that will be represented H. See, by having a conjunction of attribute values, we are going to derive a hypothesis, where each of the hypotheses will be represented by a small h1, h2, h3. So, it is a vector of hypothesis, where it can be plotted inside a hypothesis space, that is capital H. So, we can say that here we already got a training example of 4 instances x1, x2, x3, x4 with the hypothesis sunny, first instances sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, same, where this inputs are being already decided it as a target concept yes by matching with the hypothesis in a hypothesis space, and it has got decided, or it has got infer this training example and decided as a positive example, that is yes. Now, when you are having this particular example, now let us look at how the hypothesis will be. So, as I said, hypothesis is a collection of or a conjunction of a constraints. So, this constraints, there is one example given over here. See, this example, this is a hypothesis where it contains question mark, cold, high, question mark, question mark, question mark. See, always as I said, question mark can accept any values, whereas phi cannot accept any values. So, if question mark can accept any values, then this example can be moved to the positive training example. So that is a what here, this hypothesis where it can be considered to be a positive. If any of the attribute, say if the training example is compared with this particular value, it can match and it is going to provide you a result, positive example. So in the same manner, as I said before itself, there is two other hypotheses which can be generated. The hypothesis is a most general hypothesis, that is the collection of question mark where it can accept any values, whereas the most specific hypothesis is the 555 where it does not accept any values. So always the most specific general hypothesis is going to give you a positive result, that is positive result, whereas most specific hypothesis will be considered to be a giving a negative results, that is negative. It is going to like move into the negative training examples. That is the one thing. Now let us move on to the next is continuing this topic. Now let us move on to the inductive learning hypothesis. What is this inductive learning hypothesis? See, inductive learning hypothesis here is, you are going to have the hypothesis based on the training examples which has already been given, which contains both the inputs and the outputs. Based on the training examples, if a new instances occurs, then that instances are going to be mapped with the training examples, and then it is going to be decided whether it's a positive training example or negative training example. So that is what we call it as a inductive learning hypothesis. Now let us write the definition of this inductive learning hypothesis. Inductive learning. Let's look at what is the inductive learning hypothesis. According to the Tom M. Mitchell, it defines the inductive learning hypothesis is, if a new training examples come over. For example, see, we can say here, this is all the training example. See, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. If Aldo wants to, once again he wants to play the game water sport in a 5th day, it's a new analysis has to be done. So in the 5th day, we are unobserved attribute or attribute values are going to come across. So for that particular attribute, we need to specify a proper target concept, that is whether he can play a game or not play a game. So based on that, the Tom M. Mitchell is defined the inductive learning hypothesis as any hypothesis found to approximate the target function. Already we have got hypothesis. That particular hypothesis is going to define the target function properly well over a sufficiently large set of training example, where this hypothesis is already defined a large set of training examples, will also approximate, will also decide the target function of well over unobserved examples. That is what we call it as a inductive learning hypothesis. So you have already got a hypothesis which is working properly, and it has got worked over the large training examples where we can utilize those hypotheses for the unobserved values or unobserved training examples. That we call it as a inductive learning hypothesis. The next one is, now as I said, there is a large space, the concept learning space. The concept learning must be searched in a space. Which space we have to search? We have to search it in a hypothesis space. Which hypothesis is going to decide the training instances? So that is what we need to search. So now let us move on to the concept learning as a search. Now let us look at this concept learning as a search. So why it is in a search here is, as I said, an instance in a universal, that is in a space of X, where we are going to have a vector of instances, that is x1, x2, x3, or we can call it as a training examples, x1, x2, x3. Those are the instances. Next, when it comes to the hypothesis space, capital H, we will be having a generation of, means we can create or generate a large number of hypotheses, H1, H2, it is a vector of hypothesis. So, how much we can generate? So, what is the generation of a distinct instances we can generate? Or how much possibilities of hypothesis can be generated? So that will be depend on the attribute values which is being present in a training example, that is present in a training example. So for example, the Aldo wants to enjoy the water sport. For the same example, let us consider this example where instances X, capital X, will be comprising of vector of x1, x2, x3, xn. Next, hypothesis H, capital H, we can have the lots of hypotheses, distinct hypotheses can be generated so that it can address the unobserved training example. Now, how much we can have the instances? See, when you consider this example of the Aldo wants to enjoy the water sport, in this example, say 3, that is attribute values, for the attribute values which is present, sky is a attribute, one second. Sky is a attribute with a value here is sunny, cloudy and rainy. So 3 values are there. Next, second is the air temperature. Air temperature is warm and cold, 2 values. Next is in the same way, it is been having 2 values, 2, 2, 2. Multiplying these together, we can generate 96 distinct instances can be generated for this particular enjoy spot, target concept enjoy spot. So in the same manner, we can have a distinct hypothesis can be generated. So that particular distinct hypothesis we can generate here is the combination of those attribute values along with the most specific most generic hypothesis and the most specific hypothesis. By having these combinations, we can have the 5 into 4 into 4, 4, 4, 4, 5120 syntactically distinct hypothesis H in a hypothesis space we can generate. 5120. But when you consider this for all the possibilities, when you consider the hypothesis, there is a one specific hypothesis which has got a combination of only the 5, and it decides all the examples which we are going to come across is a negative example. So we are going to take it out that particular one, that 1 plus 4, instead of 5 we are going to have 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, that is 973 set of hypotheses can be generated for this particular example. Now, why it is phi? Phi is been taken out as a one example. See, if any hypothesis, any training example, if you are been comparing with this phi, then it will be it is going to make it out as a negative training example. It defines it as a negative training example. So, because of that, phi is a set of instances that classify as a negative. So, this is how we are going to have a search space. In a space, we try to search the hypothesis which can address or which can classify the unobserved training example as a negative example or as a positive example. Now, let us move on to the next topic. That topic here is general to specific ordering of hypothesis. I have come across what is the instance, what is the training example itself is considered as instances. We have come across the hypothesis, and the next thing is you need to search the hypothesis in a hypothesis space, so that that particular hypothesis will classify a unobserved training example in a proper manner. That is, it can be classifying it as a positive or a negative, but it should classify in a proper manner. So, for that particular example, to illustrate that concept, that is general to specific ordering of hypothesis, let us consider the example. With the example, we try to understand how the hypothesis is going to be chosen, the best hypothesis are going to be chosen with this illustration. So, when you consider, we are going to have a capital X. The capital X is indicating a instance space, and the hypothesis space capital H, where it is a collection of hypothesis, and this is a collection of instances or a vector of instances. Now, let us consider with this example. When you consider this example, when you look at this diagram, this example is, we are going to have a two instances are present, that is x1 and x2 are the two instances, that x1 and x2 are the two instances which we are going to have. So, for this particular instances, when we are comparing with the in a hypothesis space, we are going to have a three hypothesis. When you look at this, we have got a three hypothesis. Now, let us look at the first hypothesis, and that hypothesis compared with the x1 value. So, when you compare with x1, sunny in instance also sunny is there. Next, question mark is indicating accept any value, that is warm, it is acceptable. Once again, question mark, acceptable. Strong, here is also the strong is present. Next, question mark, acceptable. Question mark, say, it is also acceptable. So, the hypothesis H1 will be suitable for the training example x1 or instance x1 to classify it as a positive training example or a positive instance. In the same manner, if you compare H2 is a hypothesis where sunny question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, when you compare with the x1 instance, where we can say that H2 is more generalized than H1, so that the maximum training examples can be classified as a positive training example when it is mapped with the H2, second hypothesis. Is it not? See, when you compare to H1, H2 is more generalized, where it classifies most of the unobserved instances as a positive training example. Next comes to the H3. When it comes to the H3 hypothesis, sunny, question mark, question mark, question mark, cool, question mark. This hypothesis, when you compare it with the second hypothesis, it is not so generalized. So, we can say that H2 is a hypothesis in a hypothesis space which is more generalized than the H1 and H3. So, to illustrate this, we can say that we can have a general relationship, that is general relationship we can say like more general, because H2 is more general or equal to other hypothesis. So, we can say, we can define by having this here is with the definition which is going to have a comparison between the two hypotheses, and it is the statement says that the one hypothesis is more general than the other hypothesis or equal to that particular hypothesis, can be defined as, let Hj is a one hypothesis, Hk is a another hypothesis, where it is a Boolean valued function. Boolean valued function defined over X. Boolean valued means the hypothesis can classify as a positive example or a negative example. Then Hj is more general than or equal to Hk. Here H2 is more general than H1. That can be written in a mathematical way. We can write it or represent it as a Hj is greater than or equal to G. G indicate general. Hj is more general than Hk. If and only if, one we can say it is more general here is for all x. See, when you consider instances, for all x belongs to capital X. See how many instances we have taken? 2 instances we have taken. The 2 instances x1 and x2, that will be present inside this instance space. That is, x1 and x2 are present inside the instance space for all x, where hk of x is equal to 1, that also derives Hj of x is equal to 1. So, both are should be a positive example, and then that particular positive example must be addressed by the most general hypothesis. Then we can define it as the hypothesis, in a hypothesis space where we need to search for a more general hypothesis. So, we are going to search for the more general hypothesis so that it can address both the instances, means many instances it can address and classify it as a positive training example. So, now let us stop for this today's session in this topic, and further I will continue with the next algorithm, that is Findus algorithm. Thank you.